takes one time. Let's do this again. So, I'm here today to share with you this application. I came up with it trying to solve a problem, and then it spiraled into sharing it with everyone else over the internet because I haven't seen a similar solution, and I thought it was going to be um, I thought it was going to be a good attempt to try and be helpful or to try and make car audio tuning a bit easier and a bit more interesting and a bit faster. So yeah, so I will tell you what this application is, what it does, and how you can use it to make your life better. But before that happens, I need to make a couple of disclaimers. The disclaimer is um, I'm not a car audio tuning professional, and as such, I will not, in this video particularly, I will not, I will not be trying to teach you how to do any car audio tuning because I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, and so I'm not gonna go into showing showing you how to tune a car nicely or properly. On the other hand, I'm still also learning. I've been learning from a lot of guys from the internet, from YouTube particularly. Um, I've been learning from guys like the car audio fabrication guy, I think is in the US, and also the DIY audio guy, um, and a few others from I think in Australia. I've been learning from Socket. There's this guy, his channel is called Socket, and um, in the UK, I've been learning from guys like Peter from PS Sounds, and also I've been learning from guys like Rokat, who's actually my favorite. I've been learning a lot from them, and my knowledge to this day is based on off of what they've been teaching, and I've been watching their videos, even the ones that do not have titles that are relevant to me, because I do learn one or two things that are not just mentioned, like nobody has made a tutorial about them, but then they mention it as a side thing, and it turns out to be something that does help me, or it is a problem that I've been facing for quite some time, and they mention it, and I'll be like, oh, so that's why I've been having this problem, and then I figure out exactly what I need to do to get out of that problem. So, yeah, so I've been learning from this guy, and they're really awesome. And as you can see, this application has gone through this DSP software. It's not currently connected, but it has gone through it, and it has gone through the channels 1 to 8. And for each channel, it has been keying in the filters that are of this there are of these channels respectively, and it did that really quickly. Um, Also, how would I call this? The crossovers have not been set, so I'm not gonna go into setting crossovers or anything. But the crossovers have not been set. But if you're keen enough, you can see the areas that have been tuned, and that should make it easy for you to try and decipher which driver this is. Like this is a mid-range. If you look at the areas between 1K and it goes all the way down to the last 22 hertz. But yeah, it doesn't really play down to 22 hertz now. I think that is just on the lower end of the path. And if you look at this, this is the mid range. So you clip this off and you clip the other side off. And if you look, this is even more evident uh, from if you look at how the EQ was done. It was from nearly the crossover for this was about 3,500, but there are a few things that would be tuned down to nearly, I think, 2,000 hertz. Yeah, 2,000 hertz. So, yeah, that is the Twitter and so on and so forth. So, I will come back here to this application and try to tell you exactly what it's doing, and I'll show you how to set it up. And I'll also tell you that it works with a bunch of different DSP softwares. It's not necessarily this particular one. And I will tell you what makes it work with, or which one will be compatible to it. Um, uh, I think I will start with telling you which ones are compatible so that you know if you can continue. But I do intend to continue developing it. It's a free application, so I'll be developing it based off of feature requests and ironing out bugs and um, doing more iterations. I already have a few ideas that I'm going to try out, but as of now, as we speak, this is what we're going to get. And you're going to have an option of tuning up to 16 channels, but also it depends on the DSP softwares. Some of them they have their layout that in a way that works with this. Some of them they don't have a layout that works with this. But I'm gonna go through comments and requests, and from these comments and requests, I will know how to go about changing this application and updating it to a way that it can work with as many uh, DSP tuning softwares as possible. If you're using a Helix DSP, you may not need this because what essentially this does is what Helix does, but a bit more manual in this case because um, we will look into how Helix does it. Um, I don't have a Helix software, but I will just mention briefly what it does and see how we can go about it. Um, so basically, the way this works is I'm gonna go to Ramiki Wizard. I'm gonna assume that you know how to use Ramiki Wizard, and you have a little bit of knowledge about how to use Auto EQ and also just to tune the car. So because I'm not gonna go through any of that. So this is a speaker response of the mid range. I left mid range to be precise in my application, and you go to the EQ tab. You can, if you double click it, and you'll have this highlighted, and then you can go via this, or an alternative way is to go directly by right clicking and then picking EQ. And then the purple one is the speaker response, and then the auto EQ curve. This represents the predicted uh, speaker response after applying these filters. And if this matches what we're going for, uh, I'm not gonna say if this is perfect or anything or you're trying to fix it now, um, but I will show you what we're gonna do with it and what Helix does. So if you had a Helix DSP, you basically just come here, click on filters, in Q filters, and click here copy, and then if you have the channels that you intend this to go to in Helix DSP, I just go click that channel, and then it transfers. Um, it transfers. the filters directly. But in our case, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to export your EQ filters. If you have, when you're exporting it, you export and you name it according to what you were tuning. In my case, it was a left mid range, and I tend to number them. You don't have to, but I number them because when I number it as one, that tells me that this is going to go to channel one on my DSP, and that will be useful when mapping it to this application that we're going to use. So you've seen how to export it, okay? Once you've exported it, you'll come here and then browse to the part where you have it saved. It was one, and this is channel one, okay? So I'm mapping that filter to channel one, and then I'm gonna click open, and then it's selected, and you're gonna do the same for the rest of the channels that you intend to tune. And then after that, you click update EQ. If you have not set location where it's gonna be working from, it's gonna ask you to pick any folder, name it or however you want. It's gonna just use that folder to save what's gonna go to channel one, channel two, channel three. You don't really need to worry about that, but you have to set it because it has to save it somewhere. Right? Okay. So we have that, and you click update so that it tells it to use the updated one. Okay. Um, one other way, is not exactly one other way. An, a different way of looking at it. Okay, let's just go through the whole process first, and we're gonna come back. So we have that updated, and then we come here. So if I'm working on just primarily channel one, and I'm trying to tune it back and forth to try and squeeze it into a perfect curve, or to get it to work exactly how I want it. So I click channel one. What it will do, it will update it, and then it will come to the DSP software and directly try to key in that particular filter. Okay, so you've noticed it is different from what we had initially, and um, that makes me try to raise another thing that you need to know. Um, um, so if you click channel one, it's gonna do that. Okay, it's gonna update and then key in, but uh, for it to automatically update, I need to mention one thing. You need to come here in settings and enable auto update EQ filters. Otherwise, it won't do it. It will just go directly to what it had before. So if you have, let's say for example, I come back to Room EQ Wizard, and I don't like the way this works. If I click on this, it's gonna take a lot of time. So I'm gonna click this, and it's gonna try to. Oh, it didn't do anything. Usually it does. I think it's optimized. That did a little bit of made a bit difference. And then I'm gonna export the same, and then I'm gonna overwrite what we had here. Okay. So once I overwrite, all I need to do is to come back to this because it is already mapped. I don't need to remap it again. And then I'm gonna click. It's gonna update to use the updated one, and then you're going to notice here that a few values are moving around, and that tells you that it is using the updated version. Okay. One other thing you need to note is if you're running an update, okay, and if you're running let's say we're still working with channel one, and you're running an update. If let's say for instance the first time when you run your EQ auto EQ, I'm gonna go back to Room EQ Wizard, and you ended up using probably like in this case we used 27 filters. So if you do a new auto EQ, or you do a tune and you end up with less than 27 filters, then you need to know in your DSP software the way this application is gonna work, it's gonna use only 27 filters. Okay. No, let's say you ended up with less than 27. Okay, so that would be like 22. So when this application will be keying in the filters, it will key only up to 22. So whatever you have already pre-keyed in from 23 onwards will still remain unless you manually reset before. Okay, this is not connected, so you won't reset, but you manually have to reset so that everything comes back to a flat line, and then you run the keying in again. You click one again, and then it will come back and override and rewrite or rekey in your new filters. But in a case where you have more than what you started with, let's say we had 27 filters and then in the new one we have like 28, 29, or 30, then you don't need to reset because actually what happens is it's going to rewrite new values within this. So it's going to take out the old values and then put in new values. So you don't really, it's not adding, it's just removing the old value and then keying in the new value. So you don't really need to worry about. But if you have less filter than what you started with, then you need to do a reset. Keep in mind, keep that in mind. I mean, okay. Yeah. So basically, I will also explain what this actually does. Okay. So once you have your filter selected, and then you've mapped it to channel one. When you click channel one, basically what happens is, or any of the other channels, I'm just using channel one as a primary reference. So if I click channel one, what it will do, it will go through the filter file mapped or assigned to channel one, and it will read through all the filters from 1 to 31. Ones that have and ones that don't have, it will read through all of them. And then once it reads, it will come here and it will manually use the mouse to click where you would normally key in frequency, and then it will read what frequency needs to be input or inserted in, and then excuse me, it will read what frequency needs to be keyed in, and then it will key in that frequency in the filter one and cue the same thing and gain the same thing. I'm just gonna open up an example. Yeah, so we have here the right tweeter, and this is what the EQ filter file from Room EQ Wizard looks like. So we have filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, and so on and so forth. And this is how they were exported from Room EQ Wizard, okay? So in this case, let's say if we were to click channel 6, you will realize that on filter 1, the frequency is going to be 1639, gain is going to be negative 3.9, and then Q is going to be 5. So if you come here, that is exactly what was keyed in: frequency 1639, Q is 5, and gain is negative 3.9. So basically what it does, it reads this file and then clicks the respective areas and then inserts that value that it read from the file. Okay, so that is the basic idea of how it works. If I come up with a better way of doing it, I will let you know, or it will come in an update. But for now, that is how we're doing it. Okay, because I was trying to make this application to be as user friendly as possible, and I was trying to dumb it down. And considering I'm new into also programming, and I'm also new into making tutorials and everything, uh, I, uh, I I was basically hoping to get as much information as possible to everyone else. Actually, I wish guys like Rokat uh, and 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 any other ones who are like Socket who are good at making tutorials to at least go through this application and help me make a better tutorial if I was not as clear as possible, because I'm also new to making tutorials. So hopefully I get as much information out as possible that is helpful. I also anticipate or know that questions are gonna arise, and I hope to be able to answer most of them in another video, because I know I'm not gonna be able to be replying all of them in the comment section. So I'm gonna make a second video responding to the questions and everything. Yeah. So back to this. So we've now seen how it actually works. It goes in, key clicks where it needs to key in whatever value, and then it does that. So let's say if I was clicking channel 1, the first thing it will do, it will click on channel 1 so that it activates the entire application to know that it is working on channel 1. And then basically most of the softwares, they work the same way. So yeah, so then it keys in every single filter, but does it in a much faster way. Then you don't have to sit there keying in, and then you'll be wondering, did I key that in the correct place, or go back and forth and realize, oh shit, I've been keying in the wrong channel or in the wrong, you know. So yeah, basically this is what it does, and tries to make it as fast as possible and as easy as possible to save time and make car audio tuning less painful. Yeah, so into applications, I'm gonna go to a number of applications that let me see let me see how many I don't know how, oh, I don't have many, it's only one. Thought I had in this setup, I thought I had a number of configurations already set up, so that wasn't that. So I'm gonna take you through the number, a few other applications that I've tried. So the Puzu, some Puzu softwares wouldn't let me use them without connecting them, so I stopped. But there is one that did let me, and I have realized that for most of these DSP softwares, Nakamichi almost works. Some of them do, some of them don't. So this is a Nakamichi software, and it has, yeah, so it has a different, slightly different kind of layout. I don't know how I'm gonna put this in English. Oh no, that is not it. Okay, still no. No, I think it should be in some drop-down menu or something. Okay, that is not it. Okay, that is not it either. Okay, I'm not gonna go into trying to figure out how to turn it into English. But basically, if you look at this, the layout of this Nakamichi software, um, it has 12 channels that are visible. Okay, so that means if I were to use this application, I would only, when I'm setting it up, I will only set it up for 12 channels, not more than 12. Okay, let's say I come here. So right here, when I'm selecting, I'll select 12 channels, not more than 12. But that doesn't mean that you'll be stuck at 12. What it means is you mark this point, okay? This is your channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all the way to 12. And then once you're done, with the first part of the tune, you scroll it all the way to the last side. So this is where we have 12, okay? So this is 13. So then you count, let's say this was 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So we count this as 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is supposed to be 17, okay? No, that is confusing. So at this point, it's supposed to be 13, okay? But 13 is all the way over here. This part is supposed to be 13 because we've moved everything this way. So instead, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 is 13, 6 is. So that means once you're done tuning from 1 to 12, you can scroll all the way this way. And then this is at position where 5 normally would be, right? So then you have to map it in your mind to know that 5 is 13, 6 is 14, all same, blah, 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 all the way to, you know, to D. And this application doesn't know that this is D, this is A, this is 16, this is, yeah. So for Nakamichi in this format, when you have more than 16, like when you have less channels showing up, then if this is still confusing, then someone will mention it so that I can map this to the application and show you how to go about this. Okay. Then I also had this one, and then there is a bunch of other Nakamichi softwares that I couldn't. There's one I think actually, yeah. For this one, yeah, this one works. Yeah, this one works. The only problem when you're setting it up, it will crash. This Nakamichi tuning software will crash a bunch of times, and then when it does that, you just restart it and keep going. Yeah. But the setup will be exactly the same as what we will go over with the Snowpool DSP. Okay. I think it also has a way of choosing like different ones. So I'm gonna randomly choose another one. Yeah. So this one has more. So if you're using a different one, then you have to come here and remap if the channels are not the same. This one has 6, the other one had 8. And you choose a different one, it has different ones. So yeah, and basically the way this application currently has been set up to oh shit, I closed it. The way this application is currently set up to work is you have a DSP software, tuning software, and it has its filters lined up horizontally, and also the channels are lined up horizontally, so it will be picking in between. And I think there is one DSP software that I saw someone online tuning, and it had some of them vertically aligned. So if I were to get one of those, then I would know. I would think about how to set up this application to have the provision of working with DSP's softwares like that. But in this case, as long as you have your frequency, your filters laid out horizontally and your channels also laid out horizontally, it should work. But in the cases where we're going to have a difference, then I may need to get samples of these softwares so that I will rework the way it works so that we can have them play along with, let's say, if they have horizontally positioned um, channels or filters, but most of the time the filters will be horizontal because they are up to 31 in some cases, and in this case 15. But channels may be less, so it might be easy to map them vertically. So in those cases, we will see what to do. Okay, I haven't had an example to work with, so I couldn't build anything around it. So in this Nakamichi software, this particular model has only 15 filters, and this application also has the provision to work with softwares that have less than 31. So we will see also how to work with that. And yeah, I think that is about. I did try out this one. It's called Phonics Gold. And yeah, this is basically the same as most of them, and it did work. So there is nothing particular that needs explaining here. And so for them that have this Phonics Gold, yeah, I did try it and it works. So you don't have to worry about that. So coming back to the DSP software, uh, coming back to the DSP software, no, not the software, this application that works with them. So I will show you exactly what happens. Um, the way that you need to configure this to work with your particular DSP software. So first, you have to select the DSP software, and I'm gonna go where I have a bunch of them saved up, and I'm gonna pick one that I have not used this time, and it's the DPX14, and it will tell you that you're switching to another one if you already had one, and it will tell you there is no base frequency, no, sorry, base coordination. Come on, there is no base coordinates found or configuration. So it will empty everything so that you need to pick out your base configuration. Okay, and then the base configuration will be used to recalculate. If let's say a DSP software like this one, if you maximize it, the buttons will shift around in terms of their relative position, their positions relative to what it was before you maximize the window. They will move around, and when that happens, this application will detect it, and it will regenerate another configuration from the base configuration, and then um, it will remap that so that even when you maximize the window, it still knows exactly where these buttons were. So you don't really need to do any remapping again. Okay. So yeah. Um, so we're here now. Uh, I've selected my DSP software to be DPX14. This is a 16 channel DSP from Sunapu, and I'm gonna click frequency. So I want to grab frequency, and I will explain to you a few things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so it is starting the DSP software, and it is waiting for it to start. So it has started. So in every DSP software, we have frequency, gain, and Q. And not necessarily will they all be arranged in that particular order. Some of them you'll find frequency here, and then gain here, and then Q somewhere there. And some of them will be rearranged around. You'll have Q at the bottom, frequency in the middle, and then gain at the top. Some of them will have gain at the top, or some like what we have in DP. Yeah, this one we have frequency at the top, Q in the middle, and then gain at the bottom. But in DPX14, frequency is at the bottom. Okay, so what you need to keep in mind when you click get, and we have three sections to consider, actually four sections. The first section is fast filter. The second section is the center filter, not filter 15, center filter. Okay, and then the third section is the last filter, which is filter 31. And then the bottom section is the channel section where you select the channels. Okay, so the first filter is the filter number one. The center filter is not necessarily filter 15, because when you have a DSP that has 15 filters, your center filter becomes 7. Okay, and when you have DSP that has 15 filters, uh, your last filter becomes filter uh, 15. Okay, so in this case we have uh, the first filter, uh, center filter, and the last filter. And in the center filter and the last filter, you only need to grab coordinates where the frequency is, where you'd normally key in the frequency. Okay, it's only in the first filter that you need to grab most of them. But when it comes to the last filter, no, the second, the center filter and the last filter, you don't need to grab. Oh, sorry, I did capture the wrong. I clicked at the wrong position, so we're gonna have to redo this. Um, so when you're grabbing the center filter and the last filter, you don't need to grab gain and Q. Yeah, because they've already been grabbed from the first filter, and the X value will change, but the Y values will remain the same. So when we're grabbing this, we'll get their X position. Okay. So back to filter one. So we're going to grab, when you're grabbing frequency, you just click where you'd normally key in your frequency value. And then when you're grabbing gain, you just click where you normally key in your gain value for filter one. And the same with the Q, okay? So when I click here, and then now I need to grab frequency on filter one. This is filter one. This is normally where I would key in frequency value in filter one, and then I click OK. So that has been grabbed. And now I grab gain. Okay. So this is where I would normally key in gain for filter one. So that's not where I click. And now I'm going to grab Q. This is where I would normally key in Q when I'm grabbing when I'm entering the Q value for filter one. So all that is captured. So now we capture what goes into frequency edit box from the center filter, which is filter 15 in this case. And then I come here. This is where frequency is for filter 15. Yep. And then now we're grabbing the last one. And that's it. Okay. So let's say I was having less than 31 filters. I would come here and specify 15. So if I specify 15, then this becomes center filter becomes 7, and the last filter becomes 15. So if I'm grabbing the center filter, I'll come to 7. Yeah. But that is not the case with this software, so I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna uncheck this. When you uncheck it, it defaults to 31, so that's okay. And now we have first channel and last channel. First channel is the first channel that you have. Last channel is the last channel. So in some cases you'll have less, in some cases you'll have more. Like in this other DSP software, we had the first channel to be 1, the last channel to be 8. In some DSPs you have 6, in some DSPs you have 12. So in this case, we have the first channel to be 1 and the last channel to be 16. So I'm gonna click here. Now I'll click where I would normally click first channel, and then last channel is 16. And then I have to key in how many channels I have. So if in this case we have 16 channels, that is easy to know. Let's just key that in there. And then now I click capture so that it captures the base coordinates. Okay, so it's going to capture everything that it has recorded and save it as a base coordinate. No, yeah, base configuration, I mean. Sorry. Okay, now it's done. Okay, so after that, now I need to generate, because we've only captured this and the last one. So when I click generate, it will generate, now it's using filter 15 as the midpoint. It will generate the intermediate coordinates that will now tell it where to click, where it needs to go where. Okay, and then it will save all that information in a config file, so you don't really need to worry about that. So now that it has done, this will change from base to generated, and then it tells you for which software it has just generated. So to make sure that we captured our coordinates correctly, you use the test DSP interaction button, and then it will go clicking through each individual boxes or edit points uh, from the first filter all the way to the last filter. If it does that successfully, then that means you're good. And if it doesn't click correctly, then it means you messed up somewhere in one of the coordinates, and you need to redo coordinates capture and then generation. So now it is clicking through the channels to just tell you that it is, it is able to click through all the channels successfully. Okay. So if you have auto detect and auto apply enabled, basically what this means is if this window were to be maximized, it will detect that the window has been maximized and the buttons have moved around. Okay, so if I click yes, it is going to regenerate uh, coordinates based off of the current the base configuration, and then when you run your test again, it will be clicking the correct points within because the window is now bigger. Yeah, so it will be clicking the correct points. Then if you switch back, it will automatically detect that you've switched back, but because you already have that configuration generated, it will just switch to it. Okay, so let's say for example, I'm just going to run channel 1. Let's say for example, now I want to key in my channel 1 frequency. Oh no, we've used 1 a lot. Let's try. I think we have filters for 6. So it should go and click here at 6 and then key in the filters for channel 6. Again, no crossovers have been set here, so don't ask me why it looks like a hospital, heart pulse, something. Yeah, no crossovers have been set, so I'm not going to go through the crossover setting. I'm just showing you how it would key in. And you've seen how fast it went through keying in this. So if you want to make corrections, you make corrections, come back, click 6 again. It updates to the new update, and then again goes through keys in really quickly. Even if you have all the 31 filters used, it will click through all of that successfully and way faster. And then down here we have a timer, like the speed selector. So if you're, for some particular reason or for some strange reason, it feels like your software is too slow or it's not clicking correctly, you can come here and slow it down all the way to 200 milliseconds. And, oh, I did not select that. Yeah, and then now if you were to key in, it will go a bit slower, trying to wait for your DSP application to catch up. Yeah. But then if that is too slow, increase the speed until you find a speed that works with you. Okay, so that is about it for that. So now what I'm left with is just to show you what are the things that so in available all available channels. This is if you want to run multiple channels at the same time. So if you select auto on, it will just pick every single channel that is available and then process them. Okay, but let's say you don't want to wait through a bunch of them, and now you want to select maybe channel 1 and then channel 6 and probably channel 5. So once you select those, now it will process only 3 channels, 1, 5 and 6. Okay, I'm not going to click yes because we already know what that will do. Okay, so for mapping filters, we've talked about that. I've taken you through this. So settings, enable dark mode, yeah, That is basic. This auto update EQ, it's better to leave it on. Uh, unless you have a particular reason why you don't want to have it on. And then we have hotkeys. When you enable or disable this part, it enables and disables these four keys, and this only enables or disables the end button key on your keyboard uh, for use in this application. The reason being, it has been I made it separate so that if, let's say, you want to terminate or restart this application without waiting for it to do whatever it is doing, you can just hit the end key, it will restart it. Okay. And then let's say you just wanted to reload the application. Yeah, you can use this. All these keys are customizable into what you want, so you can change them into what you want. Not necessarily what we have here is what you have to work with. Okay. Um. So reload will just reload, and then update EQ will do exactly what this does. So uh, you may need it, you may not need it. Suspend. So I'm gonna talk about this too. Suspend and last run. Okay. So we have run last channel to set to home key, and basically what that does is when the last channel that I executed will be, you'll be told your last run channel is 6. Okay. The way this is useful is, let's say I'm making a tune. Let me go back to Wizard. And then let's say this is channel 6. I make some, um, I make some changes and everything. Okay, I make some changes, and then I export the file, and then I overwrite channel 6, right? But I'm not gonna, should I? No, let me go and pick the correct one. Channel 6, I was using, let me see, it was a tweeter, right? And I think it was a left tweeter. Yep, this is it. Okay, so we're going to be tuning from 10K all the way to the 20K to 10K. Is it 10K? No, it's not 1K. 1K, not 10K. Okay, so I'm going to move. So this is my Twitter response, okay? So maybe I do some optimization, or, I do some tweaks. Let's say I want to bring this down. It's already down by 12. Or maybe, let's say I manage to make some tweaks, okay? So I export this to channel 6, right? So what run last button does is I don't need to go back to the software. I just hit the home key. You see, it is updating. And then it will call the DSP software, select channel 6 and re-update. Okay. And then after that happens, I can go back and, oh, so I have the slow speed selected. That's why it's going too slow. Okay. So that has happened, and now I run another test. I don't like the test, so I come back here and I make a bunch more tweaks. For instance, I'm gonna like move this, yeah, like that, and then move this like that, and then I'm gonna optimize, do something, and then I'm gonna export it again, and then I'm gonna overwrite the same, and then again I hit home. It will run automatically the last channel that you were processing. Of course, I increase the speed so that will make it faster. Okay, so that is the purpose of this. Yeah. So that kind of just it helps you focus in the channel that you were tuning at the time without having to go back and forth between the software and the DSP and everything. Yeah. And then suspend autofill. For this, I may have to slow this down because At times it is way too fast before the suspend uh, autofill executes. It's already done. Okay. So what suspend autofill does? Let's say, for instance, it is processing a channel and it is using the mouse cursor. So when you press the key that you set up for the suspend autofill, key combination, it will interrupt that process so that it will bring back the focus uh, to this, and it will just stop whatever it is doing. So let's say, for instance, I hit the home button, and then it is now going to start processing, and then I feel like, no, I want to stop. I just hit that button, and then it stops. Okay. The same applies for when you are testing the DSP, and then you be like, I think it's gonna be fine. I don't want to wait through that. You hit the hotkey, it stops. Okay, so it brings back the focus to this, and you realize I'm gonna show you what happens when you press. I'm gonna disable this first so that you see something. So when I press the autofill, it will autofill status suspended. If I want to re-enable it, I would have to manually press that key again. Okay, but let's say, for instance, I don't want to be doing that. Like I want to suspend, then uh, go do some other shit, and then when it's done, I come back and it's already enabled. That is where you have auto and suspend autofill. So what this one does is, it when you suspend, it counts like 3 seconds and then re-enables it. Okay, so when you're running a test, let's say like this, and then you'll be like, no, you hit suspend, it will come back. Okay. Another thing, let's say you have this disabled, and then you have the suspended state active. If you try to run any of these channels, it will tell you to unsuspend it because, yeah, and then it will tell you whatever hotkey that you had set up, which in my case I used X. I'm not saying that is the official key. It's just for demonstration purposes. You can use your own key. Okay. Yeah. So that is that. So come back here, enable it. It will change the status to active, and then you can proceed and press whatever channel you want to process. Yeah. So I think that is about it. And I know I've missed a lot of things, and I know so many people have questions that I cannot oversee for now unless people ask, and then I start seeing a whole new different side to this. And I'll be waiting for those questions. And I really hope guys like Rocket or Socket or um, anyone else who feels like making a tutorial from this does that, so that kind of help me out in reaching out as many people as possible, and just to help them out. This application is totally free. Yeah, it is not a paid software. And if I go through these menus, this is just basically reload. This takes you to settings, yeah, which is this. Edit, yeah, these are all self-explanatory. This takes you to, where to select your DSP software, set gain, frequency, blah blah blah. These are all the same. Okay, for documentation, if you prefer reading, then this is gonna be your part. Yeah, if you prefer reading, this is gonna be your part. So most of these buttons and everything, anything that I missed, have been highlighted here. I've gone through the time of trying to, make them make sense. May not be the best. It is my first time, remember, so I'm trying to do my best to try and get this out as fast as possible so that as many people as possible can start using it. And I hope this documentation kind of covers areas that I missed. It is not the most perfect documentation, so suggestions will be welcomed. Okay, so yeah. And then about is this space off? I did open that again. You can go away now. About, yeah, that is just, you know. Okay, and then donate if you want to support the development. Yeah, you can do that. Either scan the QR. Both of them are going to PayPal. So all the contribution will be highly appreciated. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to continue developing this application. I have a few more features in mind, but as I said before, I am learning how to code as well. So some of these features I literally have to learn how that code works before I can implement it. And then some of them I fiddle around with them and I give up, and then I sleep on them for a couple of days, and then come back to them, and then I figure out something. So that, in short, it's gonna take a while before we get changes and upgrades, and you know, basically anything good. Yeah, it's gonna take a while before we get that, but we're gonna get there. Okay. So suggestions for features and everything will be highly welcomed. I do, like I said, already have some ideas in mind, but I don't know how this application is going to be performing in other setups. So your feedback will be highly appreciated, and I hope to see you soon. I'm sorry the video had to be long, but yeah, it's a new application and I'm new to this. I don't have any idea of how to make this video short. But I had to get all this information out there. So for those that it's gonna be useful, I'm sure the length of this video is gonna be like really short. They're gonna be like, oh shit, I wish he made it a bit longer and go into depth with, as many things as possible. But yeah, this is what we're gonna have for now. And I hope I covered all the basics. I hope I made sense of most of the things, and I hope I did not forget anything. Yeah, I did cover most of this, yeah, correctly. Yeah, so just for fun, I'm gonna run all the channels that we have filters for. Uh, it says 16. I don't think we have all the 16 filters. Well, oh yeah, I do. I think we do because I did process um, that before. So okay, I'm gonna click X because that's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna switch to the fastest speed. Okay, then we go again. So the good thing is it's gonna start again from the beginning. So it's gonna like literally override what it had done before. So yeah, so that's way faster. So we're gonna see how fast it's gonna switch through all the 16 channels, and then that will be the end of the video until we meet next time in the next video. Otherwise, my setup has not been the best, so I hope you forgive me for that. But at least I'm just trying to get this out there because once I realized how good it was and how fast it kind of helped me um, do a few things, then I say, you know what, I need to, because the first iteration of this was just a script, but then I realized, you know what, if I were to send this out there, so many people would not even dare try because they were like, what the hell is the script? How am I gonna, work with the script and everything? So I thought to dumb it down and to make it as, user friendly as possible. And this is the best I could do for now. I know there is improvements coming. And yeah, you let me know the list. If your application works with this, your DSP particular model and everything works with this, uh, please send me a comment or something saying this works and tell me which one doesn't work so that we can try to figure out why. So that, oh, so it's done? Yep, it's done. Um, so we can try to figure out why. so that also I can build on a list that people have tried and tested and it works with it fine and perfectly. Or if it has issues, you at least give a slight explanation and yeah, so that we can build a list of applications or of software tuning softwares that work with it without needing any clever tricks or anything. And apart from that, we build a list on the ones that don't work and try to get them to work. I do have one from Nakamichi that I couldn't get to work at all. And the reason was when I click get, let's say I'm trying to capture coordinates within that application, it was completely unable to detect the window. I don't know what they're doing with their window. I don't know how it was coded or anything, but it was completely unable to pick out coordinate within the window. So if I click outside, it would pick. If I click within the window, it would never pick. So I'm here to figure out why that is, and hopefully there are not so many people using that DSP software, because if I'm completely unable to do that, then I'm gonna need someone in the community to try and help me figure out why, and at least yeah, we can try to make it work. Otherwise, see you in the next video.